Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me on the podcast today. I'm AJ2 and welcome back. Here, bring you your NXT review for the Great American Bash Night 1. Now, hope you all being safe. Day before Independence Day, July 4th. With that, let's get into review. Was a good show. I would say, alright kind of show. Started with the one contenders match for the NXT Women's title. Ended with Io Shirai and Sasha Banks non-title match. Also with Roderick Strong versus Dexter Lumis. First ever strap match in NXT history. A lot to go over, and we'll go over right here on the podcast. Thank you for joining me, and we'll get into review, shall we? Um, so the show started off with Tegan Nox, like I said, first Medium, first Dakota Kai, and first Candice Larae. Now, right off the bat, you could say that Dakota Kai has been the most pushed of all the women of leading into this match. So you could say maybe the outcome was unexpected on my part. Nonetheless, was it okay women's match? It was an elimination match. So getting right into it. So Candice LeRae got eliminated by Medium with modified protect your neck knee face buster. And then Medium actually collided heads with Tegan Nox and got rolled up by Dakota Kai. So she was eliminated. And then finally, it was very good back and forth by the former Team Kick, Dakota Kai, and Tegan Nox, in which Tegan Nox surprisingly won with the Shiest Wizard on Kai for the win. I mean, Tegan Nox, she's been directionless as of late. Yes, she has. She won over Kai at In Your House NXT Takeover In Your House at 6 Women's Tag. Nonetheless, she's been fooling around NXT, but it's nice to see considering the injury she's had in the Mae Young Classic to both her knees. Good to finally see her come back and finally get a shot at the NXT Women's Championship. Of course, Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, I'm curious because it looks like she was getting built up, but Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai, maybe they go for the women's tag team championships. I don't know. Candice LeRae, obviously, you gotta wait for Johnny Gargano to finally be in the NXT title picture. And of course, Medium, she's been so and so. I mean, she's still feuding with Candice, but I'm not sure. So we go from that to a short interview with Damian Priest. He talked about how he doesn't know what kind of man Cameron Grimes is, how he slashed his tires, and he attacked Priest and beat him when he wasn't 100%. So there was that. So he called out Grimes for a one-on-one fair match. No injuries, no distractions. So there was that. They're still feuding. Next, we had a really good wrestling match between Timothy Thatcher and Oney Lorcan. Of course, Timothy Thatcher, he's had these vignettes the last few weeks of him training certain XC developmental talent over the last few weeks. And Oney Lorcan, of course, him and Danny Burch have been kind of in the tag team picture. I thought they were going for tag team titles, but that didn't materialize, so I'm not sure where they are. Nonetheless, this was back and forth. Wrestling match, submission holds, back and forth. In the end, a lot of chops, which is interesting. These two are just tough as nails. And in the end, Thatcher, he applied his signature Fujiwara armbar and made Lorcan tap out for the win. Again, I like Timothy Thatcher. He's really good in the ring, but the fact is his charisma is kind of not really there, and he just looks generic for all you know. He looks like a upset, greedy kind of Bob Backlund. Say, I mean Bob Backlund, of course, he's a legend. He was two-time, obviously WWE champion, but thing with what separates Backlund from or what's similar between Backlund and Thatcher, is their look. They're kind of generic, kind of similar, but still, was good for what it was. Where does Thatcher go from here? I'm not sure. I mean, coming off that big win over Rill, his last match in NXT, I'm not sure. So we go from that to a vignette of Karen Cross. It looked like he was sitting on like a chair somewhere. As they had little clocks in the area, on the signature TikTok. They were talking about his rise in NXT. No Scarlett though. I'm kind of curious, but still, nice little vignette. So we cut from that to the down low, the bottom point of the show. Whoops, I hit my mic. But Rhea Ripley for Aaliyah and Robert Stone handicap match. This was a Vince McMahon type of association. We had Rhea Ripley come out, and Aaliyah and Robert Stone came out, in which Robert Stone, he looked like he was going into a boxing match. He had, boxing shorts. He had gloves on. This was just odd. At the start of the match, Robert Stone, he looked like he wanted to take Aaliyah for himself. 1-1. He backed Ripley. Sorry. He backed away. Aaliyah said he's got this match. It was just odd, this whole match. At the end, Aaliyah and Robert Stone were both tied up in Rhea Ripley's submission hold, and they both tapped out at the same time. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. Rhea Ripley, I mean, going from the start of the year looking like the absolute badass of NXT to now, she has fallen so low. It's just depressing and not really funny. But she gets a win. Where does she factor in? I don't know. After that, we go from, this strap match was all over the place. Roderick Strong versus Dexter Lumis strap match. Obviously, when I think of strap matches back in WWE, I think of the match between Triple H and The Rock at Fully Loaded in '99. That was probably my favorite strap match. And then you go that to, speaking of the Great American Bash, JBL and Eddie Guerrero at Great American Bash 2004. That was an epic strap match, or was actually a bull rope match. Still same rules, but still was really fun. So they go from the, excuse me. So the usual rules of the strap match for WWE has been, they have those white symbols lighting up in the corners, and you tap each turnbuckle in a row, and then you win. Obviously, that was different in Daniel Bryan versus The Fiend, the Royal Rumble. In this case, we've seen the same rules apply to Roderick Strong and Dexter Lumis, which you like, where it's just tying up and you can use it as a weapon. That was pretty much it. Pinfall and submission in the ring. So Roderick was conflicted to start the match. He was hesitating to put the strap on. And then he tried to get the upper hand by sneak attacking Lumis, but Lumis decked him with a shot and put the strap on Roddy. And then all of a sudden the match started. And it was just all over the place. They were fighting outside the ring, each exchanging lashes with the strap. And then because of the set, the Great American Bash set, they had these cars set up near the entranceway. And Lumis opened the trunk of one of the cars while they were fighting on the stage. And Lumis was getting flashbacks, obviously, a takeover when he stuffed both Roddy and Bobby Fish in the trunk and drove off in the truck. And then, so that didn't happen. Roderick Strong thwarted Lumis's attempt. And so there was a big Olympic slam that kind of turned the tide for Roddy on the outside. Will look brutal. And then back in the ring, Roderick Strong was just lashing Lumis across the back with the strap. You could see the back of Lumis. His back was all red, and it was just tough to watch, but still nonetheless. And then a big clothesline by Lumis, which kind of took the tide back for Lumis. Then a slingshot suplex for Lumis, and then kind of revenge lashed Strong to his back with the strap, kind of revenge from earlier. So then Bobby Fish came down and tried to aid Roger Strong, try to help Strong win the match, and then Bobby Fish actually ran into and got hit with the strap in the face, which took out Fish. And then at the end, Lumis, he kind of wrapped up Roddy with the strap, kind of trapped him, and then went for that dreaded arm triangle choke. And Roddy tapped out. Lumis, he keeps being on a roll. He's been so captivating since he's been let more time on NXT. I mean, from the music to those like eerie, creepy eyes of his, he's just very good in the ring. I mean, where does he go? I'm not sure. Velveteen Dream, obviously they were thinking about them being tag team champions, but with the reports that Velveteen Dream was in a car accident and with the allegations against him, you wonder how does Velveteen Dream factor into any of it. I'm not sure. I would love to see when it's all over, Dexter Lumis goes for the North American Championship when it's all over between Adam Cole and Keith Lee and whomever faces Karrion Kross, and Kross wins the title, which apparently someone spoiled for next week, which I hate spoilers. I hate them. It's hard to be on social media when there's so much spoiling, so you have to be careful, but so nonetheless, good match for Lumis. Roddy, he had his moments certainly, but so good for Lumis. Speaking of the title match next week between Adam Cole and Keith Lee, next was a good promo set up for their match next week, talking about how Keith Lee has had his eyes on the NXT title for some time, and Adam Cole has talked about how he's the greatest NXT champion in history, and I'll prove he's the best champion in history. So that was pretty good. I mean, I'm hyped. Probably more hyped for this match, especially this week because, of course, with the report that Brian Cage and Jon Moxley obviously isn't going to take place next week. They're going to take place in 2 weeks. Still, should be really interesting. I'll still watch AEW first next week, but I still can't wait for NXT. And that title match next week should be fun. Afterwards, we got a short interview of Johnny Gargano and Candice Larae, and they're complaining about the match earlier, the 4-way, which Candice Larae lost, and then all of a sudden, Candice Larae, she saw Medium in the backstage area and started attacking her, and then all of a sudden, Johnny Gargano and Isaiah Swerve Scott were kind of brawling, had back and forth. I mean, it looks like we're going to get Johnny Gargano versus Isaiah Scott maybe next week, or if not 2 weeks. But they also scheduled next week for night 2, Medium versus Candice LeRae in a street fight. So, should be interesting. Next, we got El Legado del Fantasma in a segment. Santos Escobar was in the ring with obviously Mendoza and Wild behind him. He was talking about the culture of Lucha Libre, talking about how it is wrong, says how they'll reinvent the culture and Lucha Libre in their image. And then all of a sudden, Drake Maverick came out with a neck brace on, took it off, stormed into the ring, tried to fight this 3-on-1 situation between El Legado del Fantasma. As soon as Fantasma, they looked like they were getting the upper hand, all of a sudden, Breezango came out to help out Drake Maverick, thwarted off El Legado del Fantasma, and then Fandango challenged them to a 6-man tag next week for night 2, and that was also confirmed later in the show. So, interesting. 2 new matches that added for next week. So afterwards, we got an interview with Cameron Grimes. He responded to Damian Priest. He was acting all cocky and confident. And then he talked about how he's going for, well, afterwards he said it's grind time. And then he talked about how he's going for the NXT Championship whomever wins next week between Keith Lee and Adam Cole. So, I mean, Kevin Grimes, you may like him, you may not. He's been kind of on a roll, even though he lost his rematch with Finn Balor. I mean, he beat Balor, he beat Damian Priest, obviously. So he has 2 notable wins. What's next for him? I mean, should he go for the NXT North American Championship? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're going to unify the titles or whatnot. I'm not sure. So afterwards, they confirmed those matches, like I said, for next week for night 2 of Great American Bash NXT version. So afterwards, we got the main event: Io Shirai versus Sasha Banks. This show kind of flew through, so it's kind of short for me. Was a pretty solid match, as you expect, between Shirai and Sasha Banks. And so at the end of the match, Shirai, well, actually Asuka, who is facing Sasha Banks for the NXT Women's Championship at Backlash, came out and blew the mist in Sasha Banks' face. Obviously helped out Io Shirai, her former partner in Japan. Io Shirai hit a moonsault, a beautiful moonsault. I would say the best moonsault in WWE. And pinned Sasha Banks. I mean, I was curious how they're going to go about the finish because obviously Io's the women's champion and Sasha Banks is going to face Asuka at Backlash. So I'm not sure, but they kind of made it a fluky like finish. Good for both of them, I guess. It still makes both of them look kind of strong. This match delivered, so kudos to them, I guess. So that was the show. That was how it went off the air. Pretty decent show. It kind of flew by for me. Of course, when you record it and then go through the commercials, it kind of flies by. So, nonetheless, it was a good show. Did it be well? So the ratings did beat AEW, but apparently AEW won in every demographic except for people 50 plus, ages 50 plus. And apparently the AEW scored number 6 and NXT scored number 13. So I'm not really sure, but ratings are so and so, and I hate spoilers for whoever spoiled the main event for next week. I'll still watch it, but seriously, it is what it is. So, with that, I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is episode today. For Monday, I'll be back. There'll definitely be an episode. There'll probably be, well, I got a few sports topics in the world. Obviously, the preview of UFC 251 and a bunch more about that. I'll have some football news and some baseball news as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed it today. I'm Joe 2 and Love. And I'll see you guys back Monday. And also, if you're new to the channel, like the video or subscribe in the button in the corner there. So thank you and Have a good 4th of July.